For my listeners that are just tuning in via audio, I'm here with Tracy of Family Brown, and just a little bit of an intro because you've accomplished so much in your career. Over the years, they've won more than 50 national awards, including Junos, 18 CCMA awards, which is the most received by anybody ever. And you've been inducted into the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame. You've charted 43 singles with 24 top 10 hits, had TV shows that went on for years. And I'm not going to go through all these stats or you'd be here all day, but Country Music Association of Ontario has recognized you and your family for an Impact Award. How was that weekend for you?
Well, it was quite a surprise. Family Brown, we dissolved in 1999. So I never anticipated to get an award from CMAO because I just thought, wow, it's been decades. I was lucky enough to have my brother come along with me. Unfortunately, my sister couldn't make it. And same with Ron Sparling, who was our manager and drummer for a while.
For the Impact Award, for those that don't know, it is recognition for enduring a positive footprint on the landscape of country music in Ontario. You've been really busy with doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people don't know. Tell us what earned you that award.
Well, we just always continued. We never took a break for all those years. Quite honestly, I enjoyed every moment of it. I was really young, making really good friendships with a lot of musicians that we still stay in touch with. I think I'm really lucky. We've been in every province, every territory. That's just been a real highlight. And my dad was a real stickler for you make sure that you talk to the people and you're good to the people. And then we'd always be invited back after a gig to somebody's house. It was a pretty cool way to grow up, actually. Yeah,
absolutely. Man, there's so many places in Canada that I'd love to go that I'm not sure are ever going to happen. So for the fact that you're able to do all of that and numerous times is great.
Doing a duet with Willie Nelson, pretty cool. That was just a super surprise that we had never expected. And he showed up and he couldn't have been more kind and more generous.
My goodness, so many stories, so many memories. I remember speaking with your husband, Randall, in Calgary, when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame again. I want to talk a little bit here about the CP Holiday Train, because him and I spoke a lot about that, and that raises awareness and lots of money and food for food banks across Canada. And you've been doing that for many, many years. And now you guys are kind of handling the reins over a little bit to Kelly to take over. And that must be such an incredible feeling to give back again across Canada, which is something that's really important to you.
Yeah, well, Kelly's been involved even at a really young age, and our son did some of the shows too in the early days. Like going across the country, I could do it every year. I loved every moment of it, no matter if it was like minus 30 and you're still out there singing, which I don't play guitar, which I felt bad for a lot of those people.
Over the past 25 years, you and your sister, Luanda, have held an annual fundraiser.
My mother was from a little town called Wilton, Ontario, near Kingston. The church became a women's institute, and we would do a program every year to raise money to make sure the church was always getting windows fixed or whatever, painting or new seats. So I raised quite a bit of money. I know this past year it was over $6,000. And it's a small little town, a small little church. And all the money goes to keep the cemetery upgraded and cut the grass and make sure things are looking nice and stuff. Both our parents are there, so it's very special for us.
Yeah, I like highlighting when people give back. You know, so much negativity in the world right now. I like showcase some happy things. I'd love to go back. The band started by your dad, Papa Joe, when you were just kids. Was pursuing this professionally something that he had in mind for the whole family, or one thing led to another?
My father he's from Nova Scotia. He was a welder, and then he got into a band with his sister, Vivian, and they formed a group called Hillbilly Jewels. They ended up on radio in Antigonish, in Newfoundland, and Kingston, where he met my mom. And so they would do live concerts 5 or 6 days a week. Barry and Luanda, my older brother and sister, were already singing a bit with him, and I was really upset because I knew I wanted to be a singer. And I was pretty determined, I'd say. Because I remember going on tour with like Grandpa Jones and a bunch of people. And I remember standing outside the van and going, "You're not going again without me." And that's exactly what happened. I was with the band since I was 10 years old.
Man, that musician gene sure is strong in that family.
Yeah. Well, we've got 4 other siblings that don't participate in the music, but they love music.
You have 4 other siblings?
I do.
Wow, yeah. There's a lot of you. Oh, so then okay, so they might not have done it, professionally like you guys did, But I'm sure when you guys had your little jam sessions at home, they would do some things.
Yeah, some things. My younger brother and our younger sister sang a little bit, but two of the sisters never sang at all. But they love music and they love dancing. So when we were doing halls, they'd be up dancing more than singing.
So fun. I'm an only child, pretty much. So
Oh.
I have no concept of that. But my grandparents had brothers and sisters, and they were really into music as well. And I'd hear all these stories. So when I hear your stories, it matches up with our histories. Was there any consideration of moving to Nashville?
She did a lot of work in Nashville. Once Family Brown had dissolved, we started Prescott Brown. So we did a lot of recording in Nashville with our friend Pat McMakin and all the session players. I just realized I didn't want to live in the States. I wanted to be home, and we had two kids, and I've got two grandchildren. Didn't really want to be away. Both of our parents died quite young, and we continued doing every dinner, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and we'd all drive into somebody's house and we'd do that. And that was special for us and special for our children and our grandchildren. I just felt if I was down there, I would be missing a lot from my family. I love traveling, but I like to get home.
Yeah, for sure. You guys have a beautiful place in the country. I've seen pictures.
Yep.
And you're a real country girl.
Yep.
I guess another thing here that kept you guys in Canada was you guys had some TV shows. Call it Country, and that turned into Country Way, and then Family Brown Country.
Yeah.
So I didn't know this until recently, but when I was younger, I would watch a little bit of the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
And over the years, I was thinking, like, why didn't we ever have anything like that here? They took that off the air, and now, like, there's nothing. And then when I heard about your show, I was like, oh, so we had a Canadian version, basically. And it seems so cool. And I'm so sad that I wasn't around for that.
Yeah. It was a small Ottawa television station. We had to do like 5 shows or 3 shows in one day. And at the beginning, if you made a mistake in between the commercials, you had to start over. Sometimes you'd be there till midnight. We had guests like Ronnie Millsap, Stella Parton, all the Good Brothers were on a number of times. It was nice because it was on CTV right across the country. It ran for 13 years.
It's amazing. What was one of your favorite memories from being on air?
I did a duet with no, not Buck Owens. Oh yeah, we did Hee Haw. Do you remember that show?
I've heard about it.
So Hee Haw was Buck Owens and Roy Clark, and they'd all dress up and do these songs and comedy and everything else. And we got to go on it. It was a big show. It ran for decades. Look it up. You'll find.
Well, here in Ontario, the country music industry has changed a lot. What do you think has changed since you first joined the community?
I think there's just a lot more competition. I'm seeing that there are more females finally. I've been really disappointed that like radio has not been fair with women on the radio, which is unfortunate. And I hope that changes.
I think that right now, like with artists, especially independent artists that are able to release their own songs whenever they feel like it, they get a lot more play, and like social media plays an aspect of it too. And Spotify. So I think they're getting more spins now, hopefully.
Yeah.
There's so many times where I'm, looking for songs and I'm like, where is it? Because I want to put it on air and it's not released to radio yet. And I'm like, why?
It's such a different world. Like, I don't even know, influencers.
Tracy, there's so many actors and musicians and whatnot that don't support their children pursuing the same career as them. Have you always been so supportive of Kelly?
Yes, I know she wanted to be a performer. She's outstanding. She's way better than I am. She's got the whole thing, and she works hard, and she helps with the holiday train with us.
I just think that I would, butt heads a little bit with mom, wanting to do things my way, but no, mom's done and being successful. You do it this.
Oh, she does that now a little bit. Now that she's doing a lot on the train, she's going, no, I can do that. Get out of here. Da, da, da. And I'm like, great. I've been doing this for 23 years. It's kind of nice. And they're really adding more bigger acts on the train. Everybody wants to be on it. We have people calling all the time. We want to get on the train. We want to get on the train. Until you get on it, you can't even understand it. Tennille Towns loved it. She did a diary the whole trip, and she was on for like probably 80 stops. And she wrote every night. She's doing a video on it just to showcase what it meant to her.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate this, and congratulations on being recognized for an Impact Award.